When those who thrive on deception face an obstacle they can't control, they crumble. Throughout their lives, they've been the masters of manipulation, moving emotions like pawns on a chessboard. But then you appeared. Your unwavering presence and defiance of their rules threw them off balance. For the first time, they found themselves losing control, bewildered by your genuineness. You didn't fall for their tricks. You didn't chase after their bait. Instead, you stood your ground, making them confront what they've always avoided: their emotions. The roles have flipped. The player who once disregarded you is now obsessed with you. You've become a mirror, reflecting their hidden insecurities, and they don't know how to handle it. And now, Elon Musk is no longer after you. The tables have turned. The powerful figure who once thought they could control everything is left in doubt, struggling to figure out how to respond to someone who couldn't be played. You've done the impossible, turning the tide in ways they never imagined. They exhibit harmful but predictable patterns of activity. They often use promises that sparkle with potential to entice others into their circle, presenting what seems to be a secure haven or an exciting adventure. However, these assurances are hollow and intended to instill dependence. They create situations that make their targets feel unique, selected, or exceptional, then take advantage of that weakness to boost their self-esteem. They play on emotions with deliberate precision, orchestrating their impact like a symphony. Their conduct changes as soon as they have control. They abandon their victims in a sea of uncertainty and bewilderment by withholding love, support, or attention. They take great pride in this dynamic as it bolsters their dominance. They feel they have greater power the more their victim tries to comprehend or correct the issue. The cycle is intentional, a tug-of-war game meant to undermine others' self-esteem while strengthening their own power. Their biggest fear is being seen, since it undermines the meticulously crafted facade they rely on. The truth is their worst enemy. They are experts at deflecting attention from their shortcomings by blaming them on other people. To keep their targets off balance, they create uncertainty, gaslight, and distort reality. In order to disarm their accuser, they respond to confrontation with anger, denial, or cunning charm. In the end, manipulative people are caught in a vicious circle that they created. They become isolated due to their desire for control, which hinders real development and connection. Like shadows, they can only survive when there is no light. Their authority disintegrates when their actions are exposed to the light of truth and resiliency. In the face of unshakable strength and self-awareness, their efforts at manipulation are rendered ineffective. By identifying their habits and declining to interact, you weaken their tactics and reveal the hollowness that lies underneath their facade. They are attracted to you, not because of who you are, but because of what your energy stands for. A mirror from which they are unable to escape. A reflection so uncompromising that it compels them to face the emptiness within of them. They are hit like a lightning bolt by your reluctance to play their games of deceit. They are used to manipulating the emotions of others and seeing the development of reliance and bewilderment. However, you cut their threads with a discerning blade that is more sharp than any weapon they have ever used. Your unshakable truth causes all of their weapons of control, charm, calculated vulnerability, and manufactured intimacy to shatter. If you're finished with their games and standing tall, write, "I am unshakable" in the comments section below. They are exposed and lose their typical authority as a result of this disarming. They are compelled to face the chasm they have long concealed beneath facades of self-assurance and authority. It is an ego death, the dismantling of the identity they have laboriously constructed to shield themselves from the reality. And it is not just a little inconvenience. Not only does your refusal to be manipulated damage their ego, but it completely destroys it, tearing down the wall of lies they have built around their fears. They spiral, unable to assign blame or project their imperfections onto you, lost in the emptiness of their own mirror. You turn into an unbreakable wall that their illusions collide with, breaking the false narratives they have constructed with each blow. Without the adoration or control they so desperately want, they are left with nothing but the ragged fragments of their own fears, and are forced to face themselves as they really are. Instead of using force to retaliate, you use stillness. A more potent weapon than any strike is your unwillingness to participate in their mayhem. They are left to languish in the void of your disinterest, as it deprives them of the fuel necessary to keep up their games. This quiet is an unwavering declaration of your strength, not a lack of action. They are compelled to struggle with the knowledge that their manipulation is ineffective against someone who can see right through it in your stillness. Your presence is an unstoppable force that is rising against their well-planned plans, like an insurmountable mountain. You are the whole opposite of manipulation, not just immune to it. Whenever they try to manipulate you, your unwavering clarity overpowers their attempts. Their strategies, well honed and successful against others, splinter like brittle stone when directed at the unwavering base of your consciousness. They find it difficult to accept this failure, which sends them into a downward cycle of emotional confusion. Warning: we are dealing with a code red Archon meltdown. Because you are so near to breaking free, a dark overlord just spilled its expensive oat milk latte somewhere. Selected ones are using the Matrix as a punchline over at the Obsidian Inner Order. Imagine participating in weekly group calls where you can rub shoulders with people who have laughed at some really archonic rubbish. Oh, and this unique movie shows that the cosmos is your ATM machine. YouTube would faint if it saw it, since it's so explicit and illegal. But hold on, there are really just a few Star Chamber spaces available. You can't get a 36-pack at Costco here. Interviews with selected individuals who have gazed into the depths of the most sinister archons and survived to spill the tea are on the agenda, along with VIP access to contemporary manifestation mechanics and dark secrets about manipulating reality. You may either join us and throw their frail egos into a tailspin, or you can go on and let the archons prevail. Legend: it's up to you. The description contains the connection to the inner order of Obsidian. Manipulative forces are used to reshaping the environment to suit their purposes. They take pleasure in the predictability of human weakness and the ease with which they can use the needs and anxieties of others to forward their own agendas. However, they run against a barrier they are unable to cross when they meet you. Your presence turns into an unexpected mirror that reflects back every weakness and defect they are trying to conceal. Everything they depend on, including their charm, tactics, and control, breaks down in the face of your unflinching truth. And their false sense of power is taken away from them in that moment of failure. They have a visceral and consuming emotion as a result of this disarming. They are not used to feeling helpless. It is an unfamiliar emotion that consumes them deeply. They grow obsessed with you, unwilling to accept that you are an anomaly in their well-planned universe. They get obsessed because they realize you are a problem they can't conquer. They narrow their concentration, give up on other interests, and devote all of their attention to figuring out how to get back the control they've lost. But each time you try to play their games, you leave them flailing, which just makes their chaos worse. Their obsession stems from desperation rather than appreciation. As if your resistance is an insult to their entire existence, they are caught in a never-ending loop of attempting to defeat you. Their obsession is fueled by their inability to comprehend how you are immune to their manipulations. Under the strain, their identity, which is based on their capacity for dominance and control, begins to disintegrate. They use every weapon in their arsenal, guilt, intimidation, charm, in an attempt to get back on their feet. However, the same uncompromising answer is given to their attempts. They are left hammering at its gates, their frustration increasing with each setback, while your strength turns into an unbreakable fortress. They feel disarmed and exposed in a manner they have never let themselves be in your company. Their power was always derived from outside sources, such as other people's responses and dependence. But you don't give them that kind of footing. You don't respond the way they anticipate. You don't give in to their demands or disintegrate under their influence. Their inner emptiness, which they have attempted to conceal with their deceptive games, is revealed by their lack of control over you. They are forced to face the fact that their power was borrowed and reliant on other people's obedience, and that it was never really theirs. They are devastated by this revelation. They end up clinging to a shaky sense of themselves as a result. Even their wrath is hollow in your presence, even if they may strike out in a desperate bid to regain control. The stillness of your resistance amplifies it when it reflects back to them. Their carefully crafted persona is increasingly undermined by every strategy they use. They are left in chaos, their fixation on you, taking up all of their energy and ideas, and producing nothing in return. And you, steadfast in your integrity, stay unaltered. Their obsession with you is causing them to fail. It's a fire they started inside of them. Their desperation doesn't weaken you, it makes you stronger. Put "truth prevails" in the comments if you're experiencing the strength of your light as I am. On the other side, they are forced to face the reality that nothing can be broken by manipulation, the breakdown of their fantasy, and the emptiness of their power. With the accuracy of a lightning strike, you have a power that destroys deceit. Your intuition is more than just a feeling. It's a power that pierces through facades like a truth-forged sword. Armed with their charm and tactics, manipulative forces come at you with the intention of trapping you the way they have others. However, you, the ones who were selected, are unique. You see with a clarity that pierces illusions and turns their facades into blazing embers, not with your eyes. The fire of your perception causes their meticulously constructed masks to fall apart. The typical games that prey on fear and bewilderment cannot penetrate your emotional intelligence. Through subtle manipulations, they aim to manipulate emotions and create a web of control. However, you avoid falling into their trap by destroying it before it can develop, making their efforts useless. You can see their patterns for what they are: hollow efforts to use other people's energy to satisfy their own holes. Next to the inferno of your sincerity. Their appeal is like a flickering flame, the core of energy and truth, underlying the surface-level glow of appearances, is what draws you in. And when you can't discover something genuine, you just leave them to fend for themselves without you. Their downfall is caused by your presence. They are used to working covertly, manipulating subtly, and exerting almost undetectable control. However, you can see them. You reveal the deceptions they spread, the strategies they use, and the strings they pull. They have no shadows to hide in because of this exposure, which is like a spotlight that shines too brightly. When their charisma doesn't captivate you, when their games don't work, they're left fumbling about, not knowing what to do. Their confidence is reduced to dust when you don't follow their rules, depriving them of the authority they think they possess. Your truth performs the job for you. You don't have to face them head-on. You may force them to face the difficult truth that their manipulative tendencies cannot flourish in the presence of someone who refuses to bend by being true to your principles and instincts. They are relentless yet ultimately unable to undermine your foundation, much like waves smashing against a rock. They could put in more effort and push their plans to the limit, but each attempt simply serves to emphasize how desperate they are. Their behavior becomes unpredictable, their poise eroding as they strive for dominance that you won't give up. They become unmoored after this experience. With you, they lose their footing because they are used to creating scenarios in which they control the narrative. They lose all of their allure, their strategic weakness, and their covert dangers. Their deception is reflected back to them with relentless clarity by your unflinching sincerity, which serves as a mirror. They are compelled to face the reality that they have no control over someone who cannot be tricked. For some, this discovery is not just unnerving, but catastrophic. Your resistance to submit starts to undermine their identity, which is based on their capacity for dominance and control. Their typical strategies, which at one point seemed to be invincible pillars of strength, fall apart like sandcastles in the face of the sea. You utterly disarm them while avoiding conflict and engagement. Your calm, unwavering devotion to the truth is what makes you strong, not your loudness or violence. They are compelled to see the pointlessness of their games while you are around. They are unable to influence someone who is firmly established in their own authority, or win over someone who prefers depth to appearance. Your judgment and instincts serve as an unbreakable barrier, keeping you safe. Their manipulative tendencies are revealed, leaving them ineffectual and in a state of chaos. You are the clarity that breaks their illusions, the truthfulness that renders them helpless, and the unchangeable force that they cannot control. By being loyal to yourself, you not only survive their games, but completely destroy them, leaving only the wreckage of their futile efforts for them to hold on to. The fragile underpinnings that manipulators rely on are disrupted by your presence, which is an unquestionable force of reckoning. The strain of your genuineness causes their well-built and polished confidence to crumble. Your unwavering clarity causes their successful and rehearsed deceptive techniques to fail. Instead of playing their games, you are a mirror reflecting their actual selves with a brilliance that confuses and blinds them. Control and the capacity to reshape reality to suit their wishes are what manipulators live on. However, their power eludes them like water through a sieve when they come into contact with you. You don't comply with their demands. You don't bend to their strategies. They have to scramble to recover the upper hand once this upsets their balance. They have to face a feeling they have never experienced before: helplessness. It is an emotion that gnaws at them, revealing fears they had long repressed behind false pretenses. Your opposition is a silent, uncompromising presence that is unchangeable. It is neither noisy nor aggressive. Their methods are dismantled from inside by this stillness, which operates like a storm in their minds. Every action they do is greeted with a wall of self-awareness that prevents them from reacting. Rather than with a lack of vulnerability, they start to doubt themselves and the instruments they have used for so long. Their persuasion is ineffectual, and their charm seems hollow. Every second they spend with you erodes the confidence they previously had in their capacity to manipulate others. This meeting turns out to be a turning moment for some. They are forced to face the darkness within of them after losing their illusions. Your relentless honesty serves as a stimulant, starting a change they never would have imagined. They could experience feelings of rage, perplexity, or hopelessness, but behind these feelings is a spark of possibility, an opportunity for transformation. They must decide whether to accept their shortcomings and look for a better way of being, or to go on with their manipulative strategy, which is now visible and less successful. Although not everyone will choose change, the choice is presented to them in an unwavering and unquestionable manner. Your presence creates a lasting impression, even on people who are resistant to change. Their old patterns no longer function as smoothly as they used to. A persistent uncertainty that undermines their confidence has taken the place of the surety with which they used their manipulation. By upsetting their rhythm, you have destroyed the stability that allowed them to flourish. Even if they make an effort to revert to their previous behavior, the flaws in their facade serve as a constant reminder of the strength they faced but were unable to defeat. This disturbance is irreversible. You have shown them that their manipulation is not invincible in this world, something they are unable to ignore. Whether they realize it or not, they bear the consequences of this experience. It remains a ghost of their inability to manage you and haunts their future encounters. They could make an attempt to follow their previous routines, but their attempts will be thwarted by the recollection of your resistance. Your influence changes how people interact with others, creating a ripple effect that extends far beyond the immediate moment. And this experience serves as a reminder of your power, selected ones. Your genuineness automatically dispels their illusions. You don't try to accomplish it. You are unaffected by their mayhem. You stand firm, grounded in an unchangeable reality. You are not responsible for their change, or lack thereof. Instead of trying to repair them, you should be the force that breaks their illusions, the light that reveals the darkness, and the presence that makes manipulation helpless. You go ahead unharmed, leaving a legacy of broken illusions and disturbed patterns that serve as a tribute to the strength of unwavering sincerity. Your energy, chosen ones, is a relentless force, a storm that destroys the flimsy structures of falsehood and manipulation. You do more than just exist. You change the dynamics of every encounter and make others around you face realities they can't avoid. Your power serves as a reminder that not everything can be controlled or suppressed, and your clarity serves as a light that reveals the shadows. People who try to trick you are unaffected, their schemes thwarted by the unflinching brightness you possess. Your power comes from being anchored in the core of who you are, being nurtured, and being safeguarded by God. Each action you do and each act of discernment strengthens your position as an unstoppable force. You deliberately break the cycles of control, causing a wave of change in your wake, so you are not only impervious to injury. Others will falter, unable to confront what your presence exposes, while others will rise from this upheaval, desiring change and progress. But you continue to stand firm, unfazed by their chaos, and led by a force far stronger than their plots. Have faith that you can see through the illusions that are placed in front of you. If you're prepared to see the truth, take charge of your life and let no darkness dull your light. Sign up for Astral Atom right now. Recognize that your energy serves as both your shield and a gift to the world, a light that encourages others to overcome manipulation and fear. Your existence is an affirmation that the truth wins out, that sincerity defeats deceit, and that no power of darkness can defeat the brightness of your spirit. Keep moving forward with confidence, knowing that even when you are invisible, your influence is profound. It's time to let your voice reverberate more. Tell us about your triumphs and resiliency, the deceptions you have exposed and the fortitude you have discovered. Your truth is a light that has to be seen by everyone, not just you. People who may still be looking for their own strength might be inspired and awakened by your experiences. So speak with confidence. Allow the world to be affected by your constant presence, because when you speak your truth, you strengthen the light that no darkness can put out.